Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm meadsyreplays. Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to have a look at the WZ-121 GFT, one of my favourite tanks in Tier 8. Now, this tank is one of the only tanks in the game, or old tanks in the game, that has never ever been for sale for gold. Yes, it's Tier 8 and it has never been for sale for gold. It's been out for about 3 or 4 years. It's been around for a while, 3 years I'd say, maybe a little bit more. But Wargaming have never sold it for gold. Why? Why have they never sold it for gold? One reason: it's too strong. But then you can argue the fact that they've sold the Shark. They've sold the Object 252U, tanks like that. But Wargaming have never ever sold this tank for gold. But this tank is brutal, absolutely brutal. It is, of course, the Chinese tank destroyer. It plays a bit like the SU-122-54. It's a great tank. It's kind of like a YOLO tank in a way. It's got armor, it's got DPM, it's got speed, and it's very, very low to the ground. Now, the armor profile doesn't always work. It doesn't always work. As you can see right now, we haven't bounced any damage, just except for that one shot there from the Pantera. But it is one of those tanks where you can support your mediums. It's definitely a tank where you support your mediums. It's not a tank destroyer that you sit at the back being a tank destroyer. It's a medium. It's a medium, definitely a medium tank that can perform really, really well. Now, back in the day when I asked Wargaming years ago, why are Wargaming not bringing this tank in for gold? And they literally said to me, I think you know the answer. And that is because it is just a broken tank, or it used to be a broken tank. We rarely see it anymore. We rarely see it. And that could be a good thing, because if there is a load of these running around Tier 8, it's not going to be good for the game. But yeah, Wargaming have never sold this for gold, ever. Some of you might not know that. They have never ever sold this tank for gold. When they first sold this tank, it was expensive. It was about £50. It was about £50. And then after that, usually the second time it's for sale, it is usually for gold. This was before crates were not a thing, but before every tank was in crates. This was sold for gold. The second time round was sold for gold. This was sold for money. The second time round it was sold for money, and I think it was actually a little bit more expensive than the first time. And then I believe the third time round, again, it was sold for money. So Wargaming has never ever sold this tank for gold directly. You can still pick the tank up though, because it is in crates every now and again when they do these lucky crates. It's always in crates. It's always in crates that Wargaming bring into the game, where you can win multiple different tanks. It is always in there. Will this be for sale? Will this come in auction? I reckon so. I think it usually comes for auction, in the Blitz auction, the Christmas auction. And if it does come for sale, I don't think you're going to get much better for your money. I don't think you're going to get a much better tank for your money. When it performs well, it really performs well. I mean, this game here, we kind of YOLO'd. Yes, we died. That was our own fault that we died. We're still going to go on to win the game, but we still end up on 3k damage. We make some nice credits as well, 100,000 credits, and we not a bad game. Not a bad game. So DPM, very good on the tank. The reload is very good. Armor profile, this is a Borzic's nightmare tank. I've always said it's a Borzic hates this tank. For some reason, I always bounce Borzic's. Don't know why, but if you are aiming at a tank, or if you can see a tank aiming at you, if you're looking directly at this tank, yes, the armor profile isn't the best. But if you start wiggling, and as soon as you start wiggling and aim, wiggling, and I can't even think of the word. But the armor, the front plate armor, becomes a lot stronger. So angle your tank. That's the word I was thinking of. Angle. I couldn't even think of the word angle. What the hell? So if you start angling your tank, then it does become a lot stronger and very, very troll. Sometimes it looks like it can be penned, but yeah, it just bounces. But the DPM is where this thing is. You really can bully tanks. It doesn't have the best of gun depressions, but I think the gun depression is good enough as it is, and it is very low to the ground. So the gun depression is good enough, but it's quite low to the ground. So also you can hide behind dead tanks if you need to, and they won't be able to shoot a hatch on top or anything like that. The traverse is really, really good, so medium tanks, light tanks will struggle to be able to circle you. Overall, it's the complete package. It is the complete package. And if you are looking at getting a fantastic tank destroyer, then look no further than this tank. So if it does come in the Blitz auction, keep an eye out. Keep an eye out for this tank because it is fantastic. But again, it is one of those tanks where you just never see. You never ever see this tank anymore. Once, maybe every 20, 30, maybe even 40 battles, you might see one of these tanks. But even to date, it is still one of my favorite tanks in the game. And I just enjoy it. I really do enjoy it, bullying tanks. This game, we haven't actually bounced any damage whatsoever. We bounced nothing, but we haven't had any shots taken. And everything that comes our way, we are going to get penetrated there with the Chimera. We did want to push the Chimera because we know that there is a tank behind him as well. So we just wanted to push him. I just wanted to push him the same time as as my teammate behind. And then we can just turn around and, you know, just like we did the first battle, we are going to ammo rack this guy, poor T44. So yeah, 2.6k damage. There's just one tank left, and that's the thing with this tank. It really can perform, and I always perform well in the tank. I used to always use it for ratings. Not as good in ratings as normal battles, because when you start ranking up in ratings, you do get the better players who know how to deal with the tank. But if you're playing newer players, then yeah, they really do struggle against this tank. But it's not invincible. It really isn't. I mean, people will penetrate you. We got the J Panther here, which is a tier 7. If we're looking directly at them, then yeah, they're not going to struggle. As we can see here, we are getting penetrated quite easily from this J Panther. But as soon as we angle like that, then yes, that is when we can get some bounces. So if you guys ever see this in the shop for gold, I doubt you will, not anytime soon, unless it is the auction. Be sure to pick up this tank because it is overpowered. It is still overpowered. Not many people speak about the tank anymore because it is quite rare. But it's a fantastic tank, and it is still to date one of my favorite tanks in tier 8. So yeah, nice easy damage there, 3.6k damage, and we picked up that damage pretty easily. We didn't do nothing special. It was an easy game for us. It was an easy game. So yeah, do you own one of these tanks, and when did you get it? Was you lucky enough to get it in a crate, or did you pay the full price like me back in the day? Hope you enjoyed the video, guys. I'm meadsyreplays, and I'll catch you all soon. Bye bye. With